Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
The most baffling things about US grocery stores.
So this year I have been doing a lot of videos devoted to trying American food for the
Lucas
first
makes the
time. This
best
video is
granola.
sponsored by SimpliSafe. After all, there's no safe like SimpliSafe. And something that you don't really see in those videos is the fact that we have to go and get the ingredients from a supermarket. I have two missions on this mission. Number one, to pick up some of the ingredients for Maryland crab cakes, which I'll be making in my next video. And number two, to show you some of the baffling things about American grocery stores. And just
If he want to show baffling things, he better go to Costco because I feel like for
Yeah.
Europeans, I think Costco is the most baffling
Where is
store.
he?
Where is he from?
No, like where
Oh,
is
where
he
he lives?
now?
I think Ohio or
Ohio?
Indiana. Yeah, Ohio, somewhere in the Midwest.
as we pull into the parking lot at Jewel Osco, if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, let's go shopping.
Oh, so this is some local store.
What
Well,
store is
first
this
thing
called?
to notice is that you don't have to put
He said Julasco. I've never heard of that.
any kind of coin in order to procure a shopping trolley, or cart as they're known here. This is something you will see at Aldi, which is something that you see at Aldi around the world. But for the most part, American carts don't require it. In the UK, coin-operated trolleys are a bit more prevalent, with some supermarkets employing them and others not. Back in 2017, these trolleys made the news when many of them were incapable of accepting Britain's new 12-sided pound coin. You know, I was just thinking about something. When we were in Britain, we were walking around one of the superstores out there, and I noticed these stools that I had forgotten about. They used to be in all of the grocery stores in England. They still are, it seems. And you don't see them as often in American grocery stores. Perhaps it's because the shelves are slightly higher up. So the shelf stackers who use those stools in Britain, they need something a bit taller. So usually what you see in grocery stores here are things like ladders to help them get to those higher spaces. Because as you can see, I'm a tall person. I can only just about touch that. And on the subject of size, it won't surprise anyone to learn that American supermarkets are generally bigger than their UK counterpart.
He does look pretty tall.
Yeah, but
How tall is he?
mm,
Because that aisle, the height of that aisle is, unless he's like, he's tall.
but I would like to say
What do you want to say?
it's the bar.
But I found this to be especially true at Walmart, whose
Oh
retail
no, I
spaces
remember. Okay, but even though the aisles are so big and large, it's never enough room to get by. People, I don't know, they tend to like come in a little close.
It depends on the store. Walmart, Costco, yeah, aisles are solid sizes. You're not an issue. Nowadays, the old Walmart used to be tinier. They changed it. Publix though, Publix is small as he's shown. Like Publix gives more like Europe, where you kind of need to squeeze in a little bit.
Yeah.
are so big, they're not even supermarkets, but hypermarkets. A hypermarket combines a supermarket with a department store, basically a one-stop shop for everything. However, it might surprise some to learn that Britain has its own hypermarkets, with the likes of Tesco Extra, usually found on the outskirts of town. That said, at 70,000 square feet, even these don't stack up to those Walmart supercenters, which average about 100,000 square feet.
Yeah, this is like a Publix type of store.
I have no
This
idea
looks
how to
like
find
Walmart
crab
to
meat. I've never
me.
done this. Do you want?
Nah, this is definitely not Walmart. This is Publix.
We could just go to Baltimore. Hello, just
Cornflakes have cornbread? Like a breading or
had to
something?
quickly come back from the store because I realised that I forgot to lock the door, and then realised actually that doesn't matter, because even if my wife's cousin Chad has found out our address, we are protected by Simplest and floods. They kick in after us before they cameras detect. It's honestly Dave's home protect system to no long-term exclusive. You sign up for a fast yours. There's no. The link is in the description space for it. And that's not all. The inclusion of preservatives as well as a different pasteurization method means that American milk actually lasts longer than British milk, so Americans can justify buying it by the gallon. But what is a gallon? Because both countries have different ways of
For you, the milk tastes different,
Probably. Hard
or
to
maybe you
say.
used to raw milk.
No, I'm not used to raw milk. I have drank raw milk when I was a kid, and they just, squeeze it out of the cow. But no, in the stores, they don't really sell raw milk. It's pasteurized milk. But the sizes are different. Yeah, for milk in Lithuania, at least it's half a liter or a liter. You
So
you
how
won't
do you-
find nothing bigger than
So
that.
how do you eat cereal? Like you can only have truly one bowl.
No, a liter is about 4 bowls of cereal, I think.
So for you, I know you eat a lot of cereal.
The whole carton of milk at once, yeah.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
finding that a US gallon measures in at 128 fluid ounces, while a UK gallon equates to 160 fluid ounces. And so you might think, ooh, Lawrence, you lied. British milk is bigger. Well, not really, because in the UK, milk is not typically sold by the gallon, but in pints and litres. The largest bottle on the market is the 6-pint bottle, which is a tad smaller than a US gallon, even if a UK pint...
Oh, so they still sell it big then. If it's almost the same as gallon. Yeah, in Lithuania, maybe 2 liters. I don't remember, but I think always we would buy like a liter.
is 1 1/4 the size of a US pint. It's all quite confusing. I think this will just about fit in our fridge. One thing you'll often notice in US grocery stores is the price tag. It's very inviting. It usually ends in 99. It makes you think, okay, it's 1 cent cheaper than, say, $8 if it's $7.99. And that's great. So you get the thing, you put it in your cart, and you walk up to the till thinking, all right, great, we've made some good deals here. Until
Sales tax
happens. In the US, sales tax is added at the point of purchase, and after 17 years living in the country, I no longer bat an eyelid at this. But having arrived here from a country where value-added tax is included in the price tag, it did...
Yeah, I think that is, the sales tax is mostly noticeable, and mostly affected people are like tourists. Once you start living, you kind of get used to it. It's not, that doesn't really, and here in Florida, food is not taxed, so there isn't really that much tax to begin with. Now, when you buy like a big purchase, like a TV, like an iPhone, a computer, okay, you feel the sales tax. The sales tax can be like $100 or something. But if you're buying like food, and it's not really noticeable.
It did briefly make me reconsider buying a ukulele when I barely had enough money to justify it in the first place. What's this? Refrigerated eggs. This is not something you would see in a British store, where the eggs are usually placed just on a shelf somewhere away from refrigeration. And why is that? It all comes down to both countries' attempts at preventing contamination. In the United States, the USDA mandates that eggs must be washed and sanitized before they reach the consumer. Basically, this is to ensure that it's not covered in chicken. The European Union, on the other hand, says that Class A eggs must not be washed, which sounds mental, right? Except the EU believes that washing eggs can do more harm than good, and there's a couple of reasons for this. When a hen lays an egg, she coats it in a cuticle in order to protect the egg against contamination once it pops out. Anyway, it's thought that washing eggs can result in the removal of this cuticle, making eggs vulnerable to pathogenic contamination. In America, the USDA requires producers to wash eggs in water with a minimum temperature of 90 degrees Fahrenheit. They are then rinsed with a special cleaning spray with the intention of eradicating contamination, and then dried. Not drying the eggs would mean that the resulting moisture could become a breeding ground for salmonella. Additionally, using cold or dirty water in the cleaning process would cause bacteria to seep in, and there'd be no extra lives for that egg. So what's this got to do with refrigeration? Well, firstly, the USDA freely admits that washing the egg can remove the cuticle, so chilling the eggs in store becomes more critical. In Britain and the EU, not so much. One thing that's often mentioned about US grocery stores is that the cashiers, when you get to the till, are usually standing up. A lot's been made of how this is not great for, your physical well-being and all of that. We're not used to this in Britain, where they are sitting on a stool, and as somebody who has just rubbish knees, I can completely empathise. On the other hand, arguments in favour of this, usually by those that own the stores, seem to be that standing up looks more professional, and that it gives the cashier more range of movement, which, as I'm demonstrating here, is obviously true, and I take back everything I said in the previous scene. But let me know in the comments what you think. Should cashiers be able to sit like they do in Europe, or should they stand like true patriots? Of course, increasingly, both countries are adopting self-check.
Standing for 7-8 hours is a long time on your feet.
Yeah. I feel like the good compromise is like a stool. Like as a chair with like the whole back, maybe it kind of limits you, but as a stool where you can kind of like put your cheeks up a little bit to kind of take the pressure off your legs, I think that's a good compromise.
Checkouts. And Chicago's Jewel-Osco is no exception. And well practiced.
I guess Chicago. Churrasco.
System this, and in fact, self-checkouts are, I think, amazing, because you don't have to talk to anybody unless you're buying alcohol. But I quit alcohol, and that was one of the reasons, being social. What's going on with that? With that no eggs? What? I used to be good at it. Yeah, that did it. We did it. That's good. Old Bay seasoning.
How many store-provided bags did you use today?
0. And of course, with Britain and America being two nations divided by a common language, you can't really talk about grocery stores without talking about some of the terminological differences. A big one, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is trolley versus shopping cart. And of course, when you come to pay, in Britain, you go to the till. In America, it's the cash register. And one that stood out to me recently, as people that don't usually go in-store, but in fact go to the curbside pickup lanes in Britain, which I'm surprised to say does have curbside pickup. It's just there, it's called Click and Collect. If you liked this video,
What is it called?
Click and collect.
Oh,
be sure to watch 8 American habits that can...
Okay, interesting. Click and collect.
Super funny.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see the comments?
Click and collect. He said parking lot instead of a car park. Another indicator of Lawrence's continuing Americanization. As a woman who's 5'2", I often ask the nearest tall person to help me to get things off the top shelf. I actually say to them, "Tall person, could you help me?" 99.99% of the time
They
do
probably
say
used to that.
Mm.
Oh,
As
wow.
someone who works in retail, I know firsthand we still use the word till. It just refers to the actual drawer of the money in the cash register, not the whole device. Okay.
Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And share as much kindness as possible.